If you are an international student studying in the US on an F1 or J1 visa and are interested in working in the United States, either during your program of study or after you graduate, you should be prepared to confidently have conversations with potential employers about your work authorization status. International students are admitted to the US as non-immigrants and have some restriction to the types of employments you can engage in during your stay. The most common student visa type, the F1 visa, allows students to work on campus up to 20 hours per week during the academic school year. If you want to pursue a job or internship off campus, you'll need special approval called work authorization. You can determine your eligibility for curricular practical training, CPT, optional practical training, OPT, or other work benefit opportunities on the International Students and Scholars Center website. Connect with ISSC if you have any questions about the best option for you. Once you have applied for and been granted work authorization, you will receive official documentation such as an Employment Authorization (EAD) card. This document proves that the U.S. government has granted you work authorization approval. You can share a copy of the document with your new employer during the hiring process to verify that you are approved to work in the U.S. In addition, you may find that employers have questions about your work authorization status either during the interview or hiring process. It is your responsibility to understand the regulations for your type of work authorization and to be able to communicate these clearly to your employer. Employers may ask you things like, are there any restrictions to your employment based on your work authorization? Or, is anything required from me as your employer, such as filing for a petition on your behalf or paying any processing fees? If you are not knowledgeable or seem unsure when answering these questions, an employer may be hesitant to hire you. Some employers may perceive hiring an international student to be more difficult than hiring a domestic worker. They may even hold misconceptions or false beliefs about how easy or difficult it is to hire an international student. If you are able to speak up with factually correct information, you are going to be your own best advocate. You've already proven to your employer that you will be a valuable addition to the team. Don't let miscommunication about work authorization stand in your way. So how should you prepare to successfully navigate these conversations with employers? Here are some top tips. Know the rules and regulations about your work authorization. What is it called? How long has work authorization been granted to you? When can your employment start and when will it end? Anticipate the types of questions that employers might have. Is any paperwork required? Is this the same thing as sponsoring an international student? What happens when your work authorization expires? And practice answering those questions. Some other tips are: be honest, direct, concise, and confident. Avoid providing too much detail. Keep the focus of the interaction on you and your qualifications, not your visa status. And you do not have to bring up the topic of timing if the employer doesn't. Always address the question if asked. Try to make sure you've had a chance to impress the employer first. To help you prepare for these difficult discussions, ASU's Career and Professional Development Services has created pre-recorded work authorization questions that you can practice responding to using our interview stream platform. From the CPDS website, navigate to the Career Resources tab and then scroll down to the interviewing section. You can use your ASU Right password to log in to Interview Stream. Click on Conduct an Interview to get started. We've compiled key questions for you, so click on Created for Me and then scroll through our practice interview sets until you see one titled International Students Work Authorization. By clicking Start this interview, you can record yourself responding to the pre-recorded questions. Once you finish recording your practice interview, you can watch your recording to critique yourself, share with others for another perspective, or submit it to CPDS for personalized professional feedback on how you did and areas for improvement. You can also schedule a one-on-one appointment with a career and industry specialist to continue the conversation about interviewing, interacting with employers, and preparing to land your dream job or internship. If you find that your employer has additional questions or is still hesitant after your conversation, we have developed an employer guide to hiring international students, which we would be happy to share with your employer directly. To request a copy, email brianne.lott@asu.edu.